Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite YouTuber, or 1/7 of your favorite YouTube channel. Tommy here. Good to see you again. I'm glad you came back. I guess you must have liked the first video, because you're watching the second one now. Welcome back to Freerunner Volume 1, The Beginning of Nightmares. We're going to be reading Chapter 2. Yeah, that's right. This is a whole ass book, remember? We didn't read all 130-some pages in the last video, you understand? We didn't read that far. We didn't get 133 pages, boy. So, don't try me with none of that. So, let's try this out here. Where's Chapter 2 start at? Whew, okay. Chapter 2 starts at page 13. Wow, Chapter 1 was 11 pages, and then there's that blank page. So, all right, Chapter 2. Y'all ready for this? Because this is where it gets spicy. Spicy. So, Chapter 2. I got home at 10 last night and got yelled at for another hour or so. Here's how it went down. I walked through the door and tried to pass the living room, but was stopped short. Where are you going? It's where apostrophe R-E, so where-er, like where are. Where are you going? My dad asked at the top of the stairs, blocking the way to my room. We've been worried sick about you. We just got off the phone with the police, my mom ranted for about an hour about responsibility and stuff. I tried to apologize. You're off the hook this time, but never let it happen again, my dad finally spoke up. I nodded and walked to my room. This was kind of symbolic of the fact that my dad always got me out of trouble here, because he didn't always agree with my stepmother. But, like, wow. That was a short argument. I just think I didn't want to write it, so I probably didn't. By the time I reached my bed, I was exhausted, so I flopped onto my bed without taking off my clothes or anything. When I woke up, my mom was yelling at me to get up, and I only had 5 minutes to travel 3 miles to get to school. The things I thought were possible. I grabbed my backpack and jumped out my window. Yeah, bye, Mom! That's a normal thing, I guess. From there, I grabbed onto my neighbor's windowsill and I climbed onto their roof. Then I ran to the peak of their roof and jumped across to the next roof. So I'm imagining, you know, those like, those triangle-shaped roofs. Yeah, he ran to like this part, then just yeeted himself onto the next roof. I then jumped onto a moving truck that I knew would go by the school because the Smiths are moving across the street from school, but I ran into a small problem: traffic. Still, I jumped car roof to car roof, and finally, I reached the school at 6:59. Woo! Today was normal. For lunch, we had white rice, General Chicken, and wontons. Wow. One thing unnatural happened, though. The General left her office. The General is our principal of our school, but treats it like the military. Always barking orders at us, always smelling like sweat for some reason. Anyway, she practically hates us. Now she was headed towards me. Are you Cumans? She calls me Cumans. I even wrote in here, like, the pronunciation was Cumens. Who do you think you are, beating up my star lineman and quarterback? She yelled right in my face. Standing up for little kids getting bullied is not crazy, I replied calmly. I'm not afraid of General Butthead. Humans, you are expelled, she yelled. This time I could smell the whiskey on her breath. From there, I walked home. Great. By now, General Butthead would have called my parents and lied to them about why I'm expelled. Finally, I reached my house and prepared to get yelled at. Fighting? Really, Maxwell? My dad was on the recliner in our small living room. This dude's having a tough 2 days. Wow. Discovers he basically has superpowers and gets in trouble a lot. Maxwell Corbin Cummins, my mom's all too familiar voice yelled from the kitchen. Beating and humiliating a whole offensive line, even a quarterback, Maxwell, she yelled at me. You know what? She was drunk. Our principal lies all the time, and the football team was bullying a third grader, alright? So I talked to them and they attacked me. I yelled back. The room fell silent. You're grounded, my dad said. No, it was a good reason. You're fine, my mom spoke up. What the fuck was I on when I wrote this? One, it was a third grader. So a third grader has lunch with high schoolers now because they're 14. Two, you just get expelled and you don't get grounded or anything. I don't follow this, but what the fuck was I writing? I went to the bathroom and took a long shower. By the time I got out and changed, I heard lots of thumping. Better check it out, Chris said again. Shut up, it's probably nothing, I said back. But then I heard a door slam shut downstairs. Now I was rushing out to see what happened. My parents' bodies were hanging off the roof of the first floor. My mom had a note stuck to her ceiling. I was looking for the word ceiling. My mom had a note stuck to her. No, don't read it. He was saying this to himself here. I still grabbed it and ripped open the note. Roses are red, violets are blue. We crush them, we'll crush you too. Is that a trumpet I hear? I hope you're near, so come here. That was a poem. That's what the note said. What? A poem? This makes no? And then I realized, Emily's at her trumpet lesson. Emily's my little sister. Halfway through the day, remember. Just remember it's halfway through the day-ish, because he was at lunch when he got expelled. What the fuck? I ran out the door wearing sweatpants and no shirt, because that was a necessary detail, I guess. I ran for 10 minutes, traveling 12 miles in 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. This man is... What the fuck? That's almost a minute mile. That's like just over a minute mile. For the next 30 minutes, I traveled on the rooftops. Rooftops are the easiest way to get around. I finally reached the elementary school, slamming through the front doors. Slamming through the front doors, I ran through the corridors until I reached the band room. When I got inside, I heard a bang. There was no time to react, so I grabbed a cymbal and chucked it across the room. There was no time to react, but he grabbed a cymbal and chucked it across the room. I was on some kind of crack, I swear. Like, how else could I have written this shit? The bullet got stuck in the cymbal. I want somebody look for that for me. Can a gunshot block? Can a gunshot travel through like a cymbal or not? What the attacker only managed those 2 words as I grabbed his gun and whacked his forehead with it. He didn't even seem affected. The man swung and hit my right eye. I tried to kick him in the head, and while he bent over to dodge it, I lifted my other leg. I had caught him in a sandwich position. Then I twirled in the air and landed on him. The police came in while I grabbed my sister and headed for the exit when an officer grabbed my shoulder. Sir, may I interview you and your daughter? Daughter. The dude's 14. I don't think he looks old enough to look like he has a kid. Fuck me. The woman's voice was familiar. I turned around to see the same woman who had Mirandized me the previous day. She's my sister, I said firmly. My brother don't like people, Emily said. Now that's not, I tried to say that's not true, but I was interrupted. I misspelled interrupted, I'm short of R. Interrupted. His principal ith a jerky face who lieth and drinketh around kids. I literally wrote the THs in to show the lisp, but like principal I guess was fine and face it was fine. My sister said she's had trouble with her S's since she lost her tooth. Looks like your brother might have a lucky break if he shows us where he goes to school, the woman said, talking down to her. There was no reason for... I don't understand. Where I went to school. Principal had been drunk when she expelled me because I was standing up to bullies, I said. From there, I walked home with my sister in my arms. Shirtless, he walked all the way home. Over 12 miles, remember? When he didn't tell anyone about the bodies in his house, nothing of that. He didn't want to get a ride home from the police. Nothing. Once we got home, I explained the bodies and how I knew to get into the school, which is very scarring for a small child. Then I explained how she was going to be staying with the Smiths, our neighbors down the street. I'm staying at a friend's, don't ask any questions. Someone wants to kill me, and until I get rid of them, you're going to live as Emily Smith. I looked Emily in the eyes for facial expression. We've already lost Mommy and Daddy and Chris. I don't want to lose you too, she finally said. Ouch. Truth is, Chris was my brother before he died, so I've always acted like it's a disease that I can hear him. I packed our bags, picked up Emily, and walked out. I buckled Emily into the passenger seat of our parents' BMW, which they only had because my parents had a BMW at the time. Then I got in and called my buddy Nikolai. So I'm calling and driving right now. Hello? The familiar Russian sorry. Hello? I can't do a Russian accent. The familiar Russian accent asked. It's me, Max. Listen, your parents wanted a daughter, right? I asked. Yeah, man, what is happening? He said, still trying to be more English. Look, no time. I need you to take Emily to your parents' house and tell them Project FR is a go, I said, hurrying. I'll be there in a second, I said harshly, and hung up. 5 minutes later, Nikolai and I were at Nick's parents' house, Nick being Nikolai, Nick's parents' house, and saying bye to Emily. I grabbed Emily by her shoulders and looked her in the eyes. Listen, I need you to be brave, I said, sniffling. You may see me on the news, but don't call my phone, okay? Emily, I love you, and I don't want you to get hurt. Stay here, I said before I walked away. That was an emotional chapter. There was no images either. Like, that was just straight book. I don't even know how to feel about that. Like, I feel like I just read, like, an Oscar-nominatable scene. No, that was weird. This whole book is going to be a lot of what the fuck. So, I guess that's all there really is to say. Freerunner, Vol.1, The Beginning of the Nightmares, Chapter 2 completed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell up wherever it is. I just pointed to that corner as if it was up there. I don't know if it is. I don't care if it is. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Spider Time out.